Have you ever had a friend whose faith was so powerful that it actually changed how you pray? Today, I'll share how a dying young seminarian gave young John Bosco a prayer method that was so effective that he used it for the rest of his life. The Miracles and Prophecies of Saint John Bosco, a project of America Needs Fatima. I'm your host, Adrian Fonseca. Subscribe for new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Welcome to the Miracles and Prophecies of Saint John Bosco. I'm Adrian Fonseca. These videos exist to share timeless wisdom from Saint John Bosco that can transform your spiritual life and inspire you to grow closer to Christ and Our Lady. Have you ever struggled with distractions during prayer? Have you wondered what heaven is really like? Well, this story will give you practical answers to both questions. Through this remarkable friendship, you'll discover how the people who are closest to us can actually be great guides in the spiritual life. And as you watch, ask yourself, who in your life has deepened your faith just by being themselves? Maybe that's you with your friends. And share your thoughts in the comment section down below. It's 1838. 23-year-old John Bosco is halfway through his theological education at the Seminary of Chieri. This year would test him with both trials and extraordinary graces. For example, John had been appointed sacristan of the chapel, a position of deep trust that's reserved only for the most dependable of seminarians. So every day, he ensured that the sanctuary lamps stayed lit, the altars were maintained, and everything necessary for divine worship remained in perfect condition. But honor often attracts jealousy. Some of his fellow seminarians mocked him mercilessly. "Bosco needs more oil for the lamps," they'd snicker when he made his daily rounds. Once someone cruelly spat out, "You torch minion." John's face flushed, but he walked away in silence, bearing the sting with quiet dignity. Even when attacked by his peers, he refused to let pride speak louder than charity. Thanks be to God, John wasn't alone on his path to priesthood. Divine Providence had brought him a remarkable friend named Luigi Comollo. Their friendship was about to be tested by both sorrow and sanctity. Comollo seemed to glow with otherworldly light. Though always cheerful and warm in companionship, John sensed something mysterious about his friend. A soul that was slowly detaching from earth, fixing its gaze more and more on heaven. With each passing day, Comollo's prayers became more fervent, his devotion to Holy Communion more constant, and his words filled with quiet longing to hear God say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." As the year progressed, and Comollo's health mysteriously worsened despite doctors' efforts, John found himself drawn into the mysteries of heaven through deep conversations with his dying friend. He listened with wonder as Comollo described his inner visions. "When I cannot sleep," Comollo whispered one night, "I set off on these walks, and behold, the city of God." Don Bosco would share his friend's experiences in the following way. He would say, "Comollo used to talk about paradise with great joy, and among the beautiful things he often shared with me was this. When I find myself alone and unable to sleep through the night, I set out on the most pleasant walks. I imagine myself atop a high mountain from which I can discover all the beauties of nature. I contemplate the sea, the land, the towns and the cities with all that is most magnificent in them. I then lift up my eyes to the serene sky. I gaze upon the firmament, all studded with stars, which forms the most marvelous spectacle. To this I hear suave music in the background. My voice and sound makes the valley and mountains echo with happiness, delighting the mind and the heart. I turn aside, raise my eyes, and there I stand before the city of God. Afterward, I approach and penetrate within, where I see countless wonders that I cannot begin to describe to you." But here's what changed Don Bosco's prayer life forever. Comollo shared a secret method for praying without distraction, something that John would then use for the rest of his life. "It will sound foolish," Comollo laughed, "but I imagine myself in a great hall, supported by endless pillars. At the far end is a majestic throne, and God, and his infinite majesty upon it. Around him, all the blessed. I stand there, unseen, and begin to pray. By visualizing himself in God's presence, surrounded by all the saints, Comollo could pray with focused attention and deep reverence. Think about this. While John was being mocked for tending the chapel lamps, his dying friend was teaching him how to kindle an interior flame that would burn for the rest of his life. And as we reflect on this beautiful friendship between young John Bosco and Luigi Comollo, we're reminded of how deeply spiritual friendships can transform our lives. What if you could learn directly from Don Bosco? When you become a monthly promoter of Saint John Bosco, you receive something extraordinary: access to Don Bosco's own writings about, well, a roadmap on how to get to heaven. You'll get his profound books, Roadmap to Heaven and Sacred History, the very works that contain the spiritual wisdom that he learned throughout his life, perhaps even with Comollo. And that's just the beginning. You'll also receive a daily mass and daily rosaries offered for you and your intentions every single day, plus beautiful images of Our Lady Help of Christians and Saint John Bosco to inspire your daily prayers. And you also receive Crusade Magazine. This is our way of surrounding you with the same spiritual atmosphere that nurtured Don Bosco's friendship with Comollo, an environment filled with prayer, beautiful images, and a profound spiritual wisdom. Ready to join our monthly promoter family? The link is in the description box down below. The friendship between John Bosco and Luigi Comollo teaches us that the people closest to us can become our greatest spiritual teachers if we're paying attention. And perhaps most importantly, we see how approaching death, rather than creating despair, became a pathway to extraordinary spiritual insight for Comollo. His declining health opened him to meditating on heaven, and that enriched not only his soul, but the soul of his friend, who would later become a saint. Who in your life has deepened your faith just by being themselves? Who has taught you how to pray, how to trust God, how to see heaven as real and near? Can you be that friend? And before you go, click on the video appearing on your screen right now to discover the chilling conversation where Luigi Comollo predicted his own death and how that prophecy drove John Bosco's entire life mission. Thank you for joining me today. Saint John Bosco, pray for us. May God bless you, and Mary Immaculate keep you under her mantle. God love you.